Alright, so last time we talked about naming atoms. We went through that, I went through some examples, and from what I could see, people are still having a little bit of trouble with this. So for today, what I wanted to do was I wanted us to focus on this a little bit. So there were the 5 problems I gave you guys last time. We're going to go back over these same 5 problems, and we're going to I'm just going to break down how we go over each of these. So here's the periodic table. We will be referring back to this slide very frequently. Just make sure that you're ready because I'm going to be flipping back to this thing over and over again. So, first things first, we have this problem. These are in the same order that they were on the original assignment. So if you look over here, we have a box up here. This box gives us a lot of information about our picture. The whole point of this box being here is to just make our lives just a little bit easier. Because if you look at this picture, it's sometimes hard to figure out where exactly how many protons and neutrons are there. And you can get confused because what if something's being covered up? This box is just make our lives easier. When we name our atoms, there are 2 parts to it. It is the element name, and then it is the total number of protons and neutrons. So first thing we want to figure out is our element name. To find element name, all you need to know is your number of protons. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 protons. We have 6 total protons here. So you can count them here because here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can count them here. It will give you the same answer. When we flip back to this slide, if we look around, we know that number 1, our atomic numbers are in the top left corner of each of the boxes in the periodic table. So what this means is something with atomic number 6 will be the element because we had 6 protons. Our protons will always be the same as our atomic numbers. So when we look, we will find that carbon, in fact, has atomic number 6. So we are able to determine that carbon will be the identity of this atom. So this thing is a carbon atom. Writing with this is very hard. I'm going to do the best I can, though. So it's carbon. So now we know what our element name is. We need to figure out what our number is going to be. So the number, we have to take our protons and our neutrons and count them. So we know we have 6 protons, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So for this atom, it will be carbon 12. This is the name of the atom. This is all we need. This. At this point, this problem is done. We figured out our element, and then we added protons and neutrons together. This is how you write it. I know that on the periodic table we have these symbols here. You want the actual names of the elements. Okay. I don't know why I half crossed it out. Let me fix that. Specifically, we do need the names of our elements. There we go. That is erased. So now let's go to the next problem. All right. So this one here, I'm actually going to change the color of my pen. So let me get the purple. Yeah. So if we take a look, we see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 protons. So since we have our 5 protons, let us now flip back to the periodic table. And what has an atomic number of 5? Well, boron has an atomic number of 5. So because of that, when we go back to this one, we know that the identity of this is boron. B-O-R-O-N. So let's write that in. B-O-R-O and N. We always write out the full names when we're naming atoms. We always, always, always write out the full names. So now we know that we have boron, and now we need to figure out our number that goes with it. So, just like before, we are going to take and we're going to add up all the protons and all the neutrons. We don't have any electrons here, but if they were here, we'd ignore them. Electrons mean nothing to this. Go away. So let's add up our protons and neutrons. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Since we have 9 total, our atom name is going to be boron 9. So, number 1 was carbon-12. Number 2 is boron, 9. I apologize that my writing's a little sloppy. Writing with a mouse just isn't easy for me. So let's look at the third one. We're going to go with some red this time. So here, we have quite a few protons. So let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have a total of 7 protons. So let us go back. If we look at the periodic table, we're looking for something with 7 protons. That is right here, the good old boy nitrogen. So let's go back to the problem. We now know that this element is nitrogen. So our element is nitrogen. Good, good, good. But since now we know our element is nitrogen, we need to figure out what our number is. 7 protons, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 neutrons. 7 plus 5, that is a total of 12. So our answer here is going to be nitrogen 12. Remember, this number is always going to be the total of these guys. This name we get from our protons. Those are the only 2 things you need to figure out. So change color of pen real quick. Let's go with this blue. Go to the next slide. Oh wow, look at this. There's like almost nothing here. We got, what was my mouse cursor? There we go. So we have our protons and we have our neutrons. Protons, we have 1. Neutrons, we have 1. That's it. So now let's flip back. Boom, boom, boom. What has 1 proton? Well, hydrogen has atomic number of 1. So we're working with hydrogen. So let me oh my god. That's fine. It's good enough. Gen. So we have hydrogen. I'm cleaned it up a little bit, but so we know that we have hydrogen. So now we need to figure out what our number that is going to go with the name hydrogen. Well, our number, it is our protons plus our neutrons. So we have 1 proton plus 1 neutron. This is going to equal 2. So our answer will be hydrogen 2. Last one, but certainly not the least. We have a lot of protons actually here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we now know we have 8 protons. These 8 protons, we're going to have to go back to the periodic table once again. What has 8 protons? Well, when we look, oxygen, thank you for writing finally, has 8 protons. So that means our element here is going to be oxygen. So go ahead and write that, oxygen. And remember, we forgot our element names just from the protons. Protons are the atomic number, so we look at the protons, we figure out the atomic number, we look at the periodic table. So we have 8 protons. Now, just like before, just like every time we've done previous to this, we are going to look at our total number of protons and neutrons to figure out the number that goes with this. So we have 8 protons, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 neutrons. 8 plus 7 is 15. So our answer will be oxygen 15. Ta-da! Please take your time with this. I don't think this is that difficult. It's just the biggest issue is you get turned around with what information you need to figure out, what you need to write, and how you need to present it. Take your time. Protons simply tell you what element you have. If you know what element you have, you can figure out your number of protons. So if I go and I say, hey, looking at the periodic table, how many protons are in lithium? Well, we look at lithium, Li. I will always tell you what the symbols of the elements are. It has atomic number 3. We know that a lithium atom will always have 3 protons because it is atomic number 3. What if I say, oh, how many protons does neon have? Well, we got neon over here. Boom. Neon has 10 protons. So, that being said, its atomic numbers are always the number of protons. Just please always remember that. If I give you an element name, you can figure out the number of protons very easily. If I give you a number of protons, you can figure out the element easily. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. What I did for these ones is instead of giving you pictures, I explained and straight up told you told you the element you had, and I asked you to figure out the number of protons, and then I tell you how many neutrons, and I ask you to name the atom. There are 6 questions total that are just like this. So it's there's 8 total, excuse me. There's 8 questions total. First one goes, how many protons does an element have? Second one goes, what is the name of an atom of this element with this many neutrons? It goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. The first 6 of these are multiple choice. The final 2 are not. You have to actually write the answer out. I did it so that you guys kind of could get a little bit of practice with doing it with the first 6, and then the last 2, those are worth a little bit more points, and it kind of pushes you guys to work a little bit harder. That's all you got to do for today. Answer these questions. You should be able to fly through it pretty quickly. All right, have a good day, and I will see you guys next time.